fmtraining.tv, where we're here to talk about the wonderful FileMaker platform. We do live streams 5 days a week on 3 different platforms. We talk about a whole variety of topics. This week, we're starting our FileMaker Go series with Nick Hunter. We're doing days 1, day 2, day 3 on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Developing for Go is a completely different creature. It is similar to WebDirect in some ways and very different in others. And then Monday next week is Labor Day, so we're taking that day off. And we will see you on Tuesday. Real quick, if you'd like to support the channel, I highly recommend it. People who have supporting the channel, thank you very much. We have 3 options here. Now, if people are like, well, you guys do free training. Why should I bother to pay for your video training? There's a couple reasons. One, well, you can submit requests for topics for us to cover in our live stream training. There is no guarantee that 1, we'll cover it, or 2, that we're going to cover it in a timely fashion, a way that you need. It's much easier just to look for the topic you're looking for in our video training, of which is 100+ hours of video content. 2, every once in a while, I get people who are like, man, you guys run your live streams by interrupting the presenters. It's very conversational. I get distracted. You all go too long. That's part of how we do the stream. We like doing it that way. It allows us to interact with the community, allows us to cover some really complicated topics. But this doesn't always work for everyone's learning style. So the video courses are very small, bite-sized videos from 4 minutes to 30 minutes in length at max. And they're very animated, very detailed, and very focused. So that covers exactly what it says on the video title and really nothing else. So if that is more of your learning style, feel free to pick those up. And like I said, it helps keep this channel running, helps us putting out all the free stuff for you all. So with that being said, I think we're probably good. Nick, what are we doing today?
Hello, Marge. Hello, everybody. So happy Monday. And so I hope everything okay for you and you get to, pass a good weekend. So thank you for joining today. So today is the first day of, how many weeks do we have on this topic of, don't remember, 3 weeks or something like this?
Yes, we have 3 weeks. We have this week, we have next week, we have week after, I think. So.
Okay. So this is about mobile, let's say, layouts, FileMaker for mobile, like iPad, iPhone. We talk about we are going to talk about the Apple products, right? FileMaker for commercial reason must talk about mobile. Okay, so they talk about phone, they talk about tablets. They don't talk about iPhone, iPad. No, but we are going to talk about iPhone and iPad because this is where it's going to work mostly. Because we have FileMaker available to the platform, to both platform, iPhone and iPad for free, right? And it's like a FileMaker runtime, and you have all the goodness of FileMaker and more, right? And you have a lot of things going on there. If you want to build a solution for WebDirect, that means a solution for Android phones and Android tablets, you need to use WebDirect for this. But everything I'm going to talk here applies to the Android tablets as well, Android phone and tablet, using WebDirect. But everything I'm going to talk about, design and everything we're going to talk about this today is valid for all, for the Android stuff with WebDirect, right? But for the demo, I'm going to use iPad, I'm going to use iPhone, right? And we're going to talk about this in general. First, the mobile, right? When Steve Jobs introduced this, he said something like this new device will put a lot of people uncomfortable, right? And that happened. He put a lot of people uncomfortable. Why? Because he had nothing to do with what we were used to use before. And we were used to build before. Building for iPhone, let's say for mobile, right, is not at all the same than building for desktop. No. What happened now that we have our history, like our first iPhone 2007, first iPad 2010. I did my homework. And we have history now. So it's not new. It's not like last year, it's like almost 20 years ago, So we have history now. So we know what happened. What happened is that the desktop became more mobile, right? I mean, they tried on another company starting with M, and they tried to do the opposite. They tried to make the desktop to be on mobile, to leave it on mobile, right? So they try many tricks and stuff like that, and it didn't work, right? What happened is that all the design paradigms, principles that got invented while working on building things for mobile, that came into the desktop. If you look your desktop now, it's more and more like, like an iPad or an iPhone. It's the same button, it's the same design, it's the same layout, it's the same everything, right? So it's more and more like this, and now it's almost impossible to say which is which. With when you use like on an Apple platform, that's the case, okay? But the applications and the websites, the web is more and more has been mobiled, let's say, right, over the years, right? I'm talking about in terms of design. Yeah. So we cannot say, okay, I have my solution on desktop and I put that on an iPhone and boom. Yes, it will work. It will run. It will run. Work, I don't know. But it will run, right? But it will be a nightmare to use, right? And for many reasons. And I'm going to explain the reason. Okay. The first and foremost reason is the real estate. So, I have a 27-inch screen here. Soon I will have this giant 35, curve Samsung like this. And so we have a big screen on desktop, right? We can have two screens, three screens, right, on desktop. We have windows. We can open multiple windows at the same time. So we have a much larger real estate. Okay. On an iPad and an iPhone, the real estate you have is what you have. It cannot be extended. It cannot be, you cannot add another screen. You can't manage multiple windows. Even if FileMaker Go can use like a trick to use multiple windows, you can swipe window like this, but you cannot have the same interaction we have on the desktop, right? It's not the same. It's not the same at all. So that's the first difference. The foremost difference we have between desktop and mobile is the real estate. And more you go to the phone, less real estate you have. Even if we have big phones now, like the Pro Max or whatever, it's still much smaller than a desktop or than an iPad. The second big difference, right, is the pointer. On desktop, we have this. Okay, so we have the pointer here. It's a mouse, right? So we have the mouse. It's a pointer, very precise. It has a pixel-like position, so it's extremely precise. And so we have more precision to use mouse or or trackpad or whatever, okay, on a desktop. And so that we don't have on an iPhone or an iPad. We have the finger, that a pointer. So those small buttons, 4 pixel by 4 pixel like this, that sometimes we have on that it will work on desktop. Well, we don't have it, because if you have a 4 by 4 with a finger, you won't even click it, tap it, it won't even work, because the finger is like big, right? So the pointer is extremely, extremely different between the desktop and the phone and an iPad. The other problem we have, and that is a big problem, I mean, it's a big issue that needs to be addressed when you build something for iPad and iPhone, is the keyboard. The keyboard on the desktop is on your desk, but the keyboard on an iPhone and iPad is on screen, is an on-screen keyboard. That means when you're going to edit data, poof, half of your, let's say 1/3, if you have a big iPhone or a big iPad, 1/3 of your real estate will be used by the keyboard while you edit data. Very important. It makes everything uncomfortable if you have a very bad design, okay? Especially if you have a lot of fields and you need to fill up the fields and you have the keyboard that pops like this, right? And if you have pop-up menus and if you have a drop-down or whatever, this can be very complicated to use if you don't have a great design, if everything confused, okay? So that means, and the fourth very important thing you need to know about iPhone, iPad, and desktop is the way we look at the screen. I am at like now from my screen here, I have like 1 meter, 1 arm, right? I have 1 arm distance between my screen and my and my device and my screen and myself and my screen. Well, when I use an iPad, I don't use the iPad like this, right? I don't use, I use the iPad like this. So the screen is much, much closer than to your eyes than the desktop. And when you use an iPhone, right? When you use an iPhone, but it's even worse, right? So the iPhone, when you type, we type like this with 2 thumbs most of the time, right? iPad, most of the time, we tap like this, right? Like this, the keyboard, and we hold the iPad like this in front of you, right? So the way you hold the device, the way you look at the device, the way you input data, right? And what you do during the usage of your mobile device. That means most of the time, if you want the iPhone, if you want to use a solution on an iPhone, is you're working, you sit down on an airport, or I don't know, you're not comfortably on your desk, sat like this, and then no, you do something. Well, what you do during the usage of during the time you use the device, it's not the same as the computer. The computer, you are on your seat, you have the mouse in your hands, the keyboard in front of you, so you're more comfortable and you have the distance between the screen. So you say, okay, why this matters? Why the real estates, what all of this matter? Yeah, it matters the way you will look at the information, right? On the screen, on the desktop screen, okay? You have a better vision. So you can have a panoramic vision like this. You can see a lot of things, and your eyes will focus, right, on what you want to look on the screen. When you use an iPhone, right, well, you don't do this. Your vision is like this because the phone is here. The screen in front of me is here, so the angle is much wider. Here, the angle is more focused, correct? So, and you want to be able most of the time to do what I'm doing right now, right? To use the thumb and do like this. Oops, right? Do like this. I don't know why. Doesn't want to work with this. Okay. So, you want to scroll, you want to scroll with one finger like we all do. When we are like this. We don't do like with two fingers, right? And the iPad, well, is a little bit more different, is most of all like this, right? Most of all like this. So this matters a lot when you're going to design your stuff, okay? So if you don't have a good sense of design on building for mobile, you're screwed for sure. I guarantee that. It won't be comfortable to use. It will be cumbersome, and your user will hate you. So, and I'm going to say the same thing over and over each time I'm talking about design. Why we need to be extremely, good in design is because people are educated. I ask you, who in 2024 that is less than 90 years old, right? Who doesn't have a phone? I'm asking. In this planet, right? Personally, I don't know. Yes, I know one person. Okay, one person, but she has one, but she doesn't use it. But it's the exception, and otherwise, I don't know anybody that doesn't have a phone. So that being said, we are educated. Your user will be educated, right? So they used to see something, and then the thing they see need to act like everybody else. Otherwise, they will say, "What the heck is this?" I click a plus and that delete or something. So why this button is red? For example, I'm going. You have a button to go to another layout, and this button is red. Why? Right? So those are simple examples, but we are extremely educated in terms of design for mobile. Another thing before we go to question or something like this, the design you will use on iPad, iPhone, that will convey confidence, that will give a sense of quality. So, and really with small little things, you can get your entire solution to suck big league, just because you have two little things that doesn't work well, that doesn't go well. It's very quickly the sense of dirtiness will come very. You have no forgiveness on an iPhone and iPad that you have on a desktop. Desktop is okay. You put a button here, you like this, it's okay. People will forgive you. But on the phone, no. On the phone, you need to be extremely, extremely conservative on everything you do. Not because of performance, because Now we have found they are more performant than some desktop, for sure, for sure. Performance on the phone will be, in my opinion, FileMaker Go works better than FileMaker on desktop, in my opinion, personally. Faster, more responsive, you know, by far, especially if you have a phone, like a Pro or something like this. After that, the difference could be the network. I mean, if you have a server in-house, in premises server, and you wired to the server within your company, yeah, okay, the phone is, Wi-Fi only. So of course it will be smaller, it will be slower. But if you don't have this, right, if you use a solution with a Wi-Fi on all the, all over the if you have an Amazon server, something like that will be the same speed, and in some cases it's faster on the iPhone. So the performance is not an issue on FileMaker Go for many reasons. Okay, like I explained. But the all is about design on iPhone. Everything. You can build the same way you build for desktop. That means the code, the logic, and the calculations, everything will be the same. There's no difference between iPhone, iPad. Very rare thing, very precise, won't work in one world, right? But the way you build your calculations and the relationship and stuff, that will be the same for both. And you can reuse the same for both. I mean, you build a field with a calc for desktop on iPad and iPhone, that will work. The only big difference that you will have will be on layouts, scripts, right? That will be the two things where you will have a big difference, right? So, and there's multiple way to handle this, okay? I have much more experience than the beginning that I started using FileMaker Go. And so there's things that I'm not doing anymore. I'm doing differently. I realized that doing the other way is better, right? Thinking that at the beginning that doing the way I was doing before it was better, but I realized not. And everything evolved, and FileMaker evolved, and the phone evolved, and everything evolved. So now we have, like I said before, we had to think about performance. Now we don't have to think about this. The performance between the phone, right? The first time I built a solution for a phone was an iPhone 4, this nice looking iPhone 4 with a tiny screen like this, right? And the performance of a super calculator, right? So it's so now we have the same chip, we have the same CPU we have on the phone, then the computer is the same, right? So
Well, we have the one question which I think that you are going to predict handily, which is what about Android?
yeah, I said at the beginning.
Yeah.
So Android is the same. The Android is the same. Everything I said is the same. Android is a phone. That's the same real estate problem. The same keyboard that show up. So everything the same. The only thing is, instead of building for FileMaker Go, you're going to build for WebDirect. It will be a web page.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to have an Android, you don't have any, and like if the boss were there, we said that will never happen. Never. And FileMaker Go for Android, for Android will never work, never be there. So but they did a good job, a very good job to handle this on WebDirect. So maybe I will take a last day, right? Talk about specific WebDirect for Android. So that means using WebDirect and for Android. They did a big job here, to get that better and working well. Okay. So, but all the design thing that we're going to talk about during 3 weeks, that applies, that all applies. And that I was saying last week and the last 2 or 3 weeks when I was doing the web direct series, I was saying all the time, oh, but that apply to mobile. Oh, that apply to mobile. That apply to mobile. I was saying that all the time
Yeah.
because because that's pretty much the same problem here, right? So, first we have who is using this. Who is using this? Most of the time, if you want to use an iPhone, an iPhone or an iPad solution, is because you want to distribute it or you want to give access to somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
So people doesn't know about FileMaker, so we cannot shoot their thing for FileMaker. Also, all what I said last week about the deletion, editing, and stuff like that. Yeah, you can just have, a layout and boom, you can do it. I build it. I'm going to show you something like this. Like there's no prevention. I mean, you go to the layout, boom, you edit you tap on the field and boom, you edit the field. That's what I have now, right? But I have another example where, it is good sometime, right? Not leaving the data to be editable straight on the layout. But we're going to talk about that. So is that the only question we have?
The other one is frankly, it's a common one. It's one that me and Richard ran into when I was designing the Go solution for my customer, which is I would love for Nick to explain how to properly use insert from device dash camera. The scenario that I have is for apartment inspection. What is best? Is it a hosted solution or should it be a local with an upload to the server?
Okay. So today we do like a general talking like
Yeah,
this,
I know
right?
today is kind of a general thing, but that's
Yeah, like I said, like I did for WebDirect, so we talk and I can answer this question. I will say, it's the best for this for the that's Scott.
it is Drew Simpson.
Drew. Okay, because Scott has the same problem. The best is to have a solution, offline solution, offline. Okay. For obvious reason. First of all, if you're on the field and you are on the 4G connection and stuff like that, it can drop and then disconnected. You know, no. So there's no forgiveness there. It's not like a website. It's like, oh, disconnected, right? Right.
Yeah,
So
you're,
yeah. So that's the first problem. The second problem is performance.
mm,
And you're going, it's performance. And because you upload with 4G on the field, so you have no guarantee that your AT&T / whatever provider you have, T-Mobile or whatever, you have no guarantee that you will get a good upload, not a download, right? Because
mm,
when you send a picture, and FileMaker sucks, okay, on uploading thing with containers.
yes.
Right. Okay. So it sucks on desktop and it sucks the same on mobile. They're the same. Because it's not a streaming like so when you stuck, you need to wait until this is gone. You don't have a
Yeah.
post process on the background, say, oh, I have the photo and boom, I take the photo. uh,
No, you
I
take the
remember.
photo and you sit there and you stare at it and you wait.
Yeah. So I had this discussion, like, over there at FileMaker, we had a lot of door slamming. I said we need that. We need to take the photo in the container,
Hmm.
and then you have a progress bar. Say, okay, oh yeah, I'm storing it. But there's a lot of problem on this, and the most problem is the memory. So, and how FileMaker is built. So they had a lot of rebuilding, right? And they didn't want to do that, to pretty much rebuild containers, right? And to do like a post, multiple threading, post process, post updating, like this, especially on the device, would have been good, right? To do that on the device, right?
Hmm.
But then after that, we have also sometime when you have a limitation between desktop and iPad, iPhone, right? Apple is involved.
Ah.
So yeah, but you can do that, because you know that protection, and you can do whatever you want, on the phone, right? You have rules and FileMaker Go, even if it's an Apple solution, even if it's an Apple product, they don't have a pass through. They have to pass the App Store, or what's the name, or certification, right? So you can do whatever you want. So sometimes say, hey, this thing we want to do, but we can't because Apple doesn't, So I think in your case, you need an offline solution, and then you upload. At the end, you have an upload button. There's many ways to do that. Um, and but I have a I have a preferred way to do that is to there's many ways. You can use APIs, you can use many other tricks like this, but I have a very simple way, which is the upload, the what's the name, the let's say the pushing. It's a let's say a pushing, but it's not really a pushing, it's something different. So I'm going to show you that, but that more at the end, because it's kind of it's not simple. I want to talk about something else before to talk about this, but offline, yeah, on the photo for the photos. So I'm going to share my screen right quick. So this is what I was talking about. Okay, so this is a solution I built, believe it or not, in 2011. So it's a 13 years old solution. Okay, and still looking good. So I built the starter solution when I was at Claris over there at FileMaker, right? So that's what I was doing. And this solution has where's my where's the quick find? The quick, yeah, the quick time. Okay, here. So this is a version on iPad, right? So this is a version on desktop. This is a version on iPad, right? So you can see here that there's many difference here, right? Not much, but there's difference. When you build a layout like this is a very simple layout. So you have fields like this, right? When I built the solution, I had the iPad in mind. And of course, I have it here, try to do it, disconnect this and connect this. That is the same for iPhone, right? So what happened between this and this, right? So what happened is everything now is on one column, right? Here it's on two column. Here, so here is on two column, and here is on one column. Everything got shrunk on one column. That's why when you build something for iPhone, iPad, or even if you build something, you need to keep the design principle of columns. Build columns. Always build columns. For example, if I open the, I don't know if I have, if I still have the, let me go to see the FMSP file that I was using for, the WebDirect series. The column design principle is pretty much what everybody is using in the industry, to separate your layout into columns, even on desktop. always do this. Keep the column, the alignment, right? The column. And then you will save time both on building for desktop and adapting for iPad and iPhone. Because there's no way you can have a solution that designed for desktop and worked on iPad and iPhone. There's no way. Okay, so that's why. So this is a FM starting point, right? And believe it or not, but we have columns. We build this in column, and you have them here, right? One column, another one here, another one here, another one here. There's 4 columns here. 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? You understand? So if I have to design this, right? Well, for iPhone, that will be very simple to build, right? I will have this. I will have one column with this first, right? You select this, then you go to that layout, this column, and then on the bottom you will have 2 buttons says info, notes, and this will change into the note column, right? We will do that, that's the point. We will use the FM starting point and make this for iPhone, iPad, right? This is what we're going to do. Like exactly what I've done for the webs, right? I use this example here just for, to get you to understand. So this layout here, so we have 2 layouts. We have 3 layouts, sorry. We have for iPad and iPhone, right? So for iPad, for iPhone, see here, it's pretty much the same thing. But for the iPhone, this is the iPhone, right? This is an iPhone. This is an iPad here, right? iPad, iPhone. When I click here on an iPhone, I go there, back, there, back. So it's like having this. You select a record and you have the info. You select a record and you have the info. And you need to go back, right? Info, back. Here we have the real estate. On an iPhone, if I had this folder, I didn't have this folder back in the day, so I couldn't build this. But if I had this, I would have put here. You can put the list here. This list here you can put on the layout, but in very, very strict condition. Because there's something I didn't talk about and I want to talk about. Something that related to the real estates. And what it is this. Rotation. So when you rotate, of course here, I can show much more on the wide than the height, right? The width than the height. Here, I have the height on priority. Here, I have the width on priority, right? Right? Okay, so that means we can have more info if I have this than this. You understand? What we need to avoid absolutely on an iPad and an iPhone is to have a layout that do this. Right, left, up, down. Up, down is good. Up, down, scrolling up and down. This is okay. We do that. We do that all the time. All the time. We scroll up and down like this. We do that all the time. right? We spend our lives scrolling, right? That's what we say, right? You go TikTok, you go Instagram, you go wherever you want, you spend your life scrolling, okay? So up and down is okay. But give me one app where you can do this, right? Give me one app that go like this, right? None. We don't scroll left and right. We scroll up and down, but not left, right. No, never. So the real estate, the layouts that you're going to build will have to take all this in account, right? So, of course, so I have an iPhone, 15 normal, right? 14 normal, right? So if I rotate like this and I want to edit the first name, this is what happened, right? And why the keyboard? This happened, right? So look, my real estate. I have a pretty significant. I have a nice iPhone. I have an iPhone like everybody have, right? And look, my real estate. Look what I'm seeing, right? So imagine that your layout doesn't take account of this, the madness, right? Because this is what I can scroll. I can scroll here on top, right? So that's why so now we okay that for editing of data, this is better, correct? So the orientation, but people will figure out by themselves, right? But you need to know, right? You need to know that when you click this, right? You have the keyboard coming up, okay? And you have the orientation, right? And you have the real estate small. And so all of this makes designing and building for iPhone complicated. I understand that. And that's why you're here. The size of the buttons, the size of the fields, all of this matter. You can't, the size of everything will matter. They're much bigger than a desktop, for example. Even though, if I don't know if you noticed, but the design used here, here, it's okay to be used the same. That's why I build this. I build this theme and this design is because this is iPhoneable and iPadable without any redesign. What I'm saying is, if you use this theme that I call Morpheus, if you use this theme, you can reuse the same buttons, the same fields, the same everything on all platform, all of them. It will just work. You don't have, there's no difference. This, and we will see this week, next week, all those buttons and everything that I have here will work perfectly on an iPhone and iPad without having a different theme, different size, different everything, right? So that's why, it will be good for you to use that theme, and you will get the best result at the end, because very important in an app is to use to remove everything that doesn't need to be there, right? And people are educated, right? People are educated, and you need to if you build layouts simple, you can give to your users what we call discoverability. What is the discoverability? Let them tap. Let them tap here, there. But that's why you cannot. You can't just say, "Oh, I put all my buttons, on the layouts like we do sometime on the desktop, all the button, boom, like this." And you tap a button and you go on the other side of the solution. You don't know where you are. You don't know how to go back, right? So the discoverability, you need to keep away everything that is disruptive and something that is disruptive and destructive, like deletion and stuff like this. In this, you can't just put that there, For example, here, this is the iPad layout. We have a delete button here, right? On an iPhone, the delete button is here. See what I mean? It's on the bottom. Why? Because you have much more accident possible in an iPhone than an iPad. So you can accidentally tap the delete contact button more on an iPhone than an iPad. So on iPhone, the delete button is a little bit hidden. Go to your contact app, go to your contact app and try to delete a contact. You'll see it's not that easy. Do it now. You need to edit.
Yeah, it's a whole pain in the butt is what this is.
Yeah, but that's a reason why.
You don't want to accidentally delete it.
Exactly. You don't want to accidentally delete, something and say, my gosh, I didn't want to do that. So that's the same. You need to think about those things. Okay. But we're going to learn about those things. We're going to learn about this. Yeah. Well, I think I covered all what I want to know. I want to say, yeah. Oh, yeah. So I got it.
So we're
Other big aspects, the big thing, the most complicated thing you can do in your entire life for iPhone and iPad is the navigation. So navigation on iPod, I will get a week on navigation. Navigate through. So let me open another solution that I built here. It will be in Spanish. I'm sorry, my phone is in Spanish. I download the latest version. Is in Spanish, but it's okay. So this is the invoice solution that I built also 13 years ago. So this, so you have a lot of things going on here. Okay. So this is an invoice. Okay. And in a new invoice, so I don't have any item here, right? So I can choose the item and say 9, and the price I paid 96. Sorry. Okay, so I have this. So I go back. See, so now I can add here. I click here, and I can add another article. So I said 5 of 15, and I said, I don't know, and go back. So now I have 2. So you have the navigation. So now you are editing the layout, the invoice, right? So this is an invoice. You are editing the invoice, and as you add items, see, you add items, the layout gets taller and taller and taller, right? Right? So now this is much taller than before, so you can scroll up and down. But I am editing the invoice. So now I click here the OK button, and now I have the the frozen version of the invoice. I can, if I tap here, nothing happened, nothing, absolutely nothing. Just I can send by email, print, right? And define the payments. I can delete, I can edit, I can tap, right? See what I mean? Right? And the way it is presented, the way the information is presented is to save real estate and to be efficient. For example, look here. It's 9 by 96 euros because I'm in Europe, right? Right? And I have 0% discounts, right? Here I have 5 by 15, 1 by 0, but you know what I mean? So I don't have fields side by side. No, this is a text. And now that we have the new layout calculation, this will be super useful. I didn't have this back in the day, so I built the old school. But this is the paradigm you need to use in order to create something like this. So if I want to edit this invoice, I cannot just tap like in FileMaker desktop. Oh, tap, you click and boom. No, you edit. So you tap the edit button here, you edit, and then you can change things. You can delete an article, right? You can delete something, right? Or you can change the price. Say, okay, yes, I have a discount of 5%, or 5% discount, right? So you go back, right? So now it says I have 5% discount. And this year I can change the price. Let's say I want to put like 85 and I put like a 10% discount, right? So see, so you have something like this. So when you have the edit button, so now I'm editing, so I can delete, I can add, right? And of course I can delete, right? I can delete the invoice, and I can say okay, boom. So now I have all my invoices. On the bottom, you have the navigation throughout the solution, like any apps on your iPhone. Go Music, go wherever you want, App Store. You have a main navigation, but you have the in-record navigation like this, editing, back, all of this, editing, tapping an article, an item, and then, back, and then okay, and then back to the list of the invoices. This is one navigation, right? And then you have another one when you navigate throughout all the things. So you have the dashboard, and then you have the invoice, and then you have the contact. So you can add a contact, right? And we have the same thing, right? So let's say this is RCC, right? And so I have a contact here, right? And I can create an invoice from here. No, I create an invoice for RCC. This is my invoice, right? I have my invoice, okay. And then when I go back, right, I have my invoice. But if I go to the contact, now, I see I have one invoice for that guy. If I tap, so I can create another one, for example, right? And so now I have two invoice for that guy. If I tap this arrow here, I can see the two invoice from that guy. And if I go back to contacts, right? So all of these navigations, right? The navigation is complicated to get done right, right? So we're going to learn about this a little bit more, right? Our navigation buttons are typically on the bottom on iPhone and iPad when they are on the top on desktop, right? But we never put any navigation on top of a layout in iPhone and iPad. None. Go on your iPhone, you will see there's no navigation on top, always on the bottom, right? So this is the 13 years old solution. So now we have better thing. But you can see here that everything is. I use my phone with one finger here, so I can use all of this invoice system with one thumb, right? I can do everything with one thumb. I can edit with one thumb, type an article, all of this with one thumb, right? Go back. So so this is because we use all the paradigms and principle of a mobile, right? On the phone, right? On the phone. So this is navigation is complicated. I mean, you need to get the sense of the navigation. You can do what we used to do on the desktop. Why? Because we have one column, right? And everything need to be displayed there. And you cannot display everything at the same time. You can do this. You can do this on the phone. Tell me how you do this on the phone. Tell me. I ask you. I want everything on the phone. Yeah, okay, you can do this. Maybe I don't know. Or I don't know whether the view. You do the zoom. Okay, like this. Okay, so I have that on the phone. Let's do that on the phone, right? Because that's the only way you can do that. There's no way you can show everything on the phone. No way. So don't even try. It won't work. Right? It won't work. So you need to have on the phone and an iPad. It's easier because you have more real estate, but still, it's not that easy. And you need to think about the rotation, right? Because here we did a basic rotation, right? We did a basic rotation. Everything gets stretched, okay? Everything gets stretched. We did a basic rotation. But if you want to do a smart rotation, you need two layouts. So that makes the thing more difficult. That's why when you build a layout, right, for iPhone, iPad, when you build a solution and you know that you have a desktop and iPhone and iPad, when you have this in mind, if your solution has to work on free platform, think about it. Always, when you build something for desktop, think. I will teach you the column system like this, because if you have the column system, everything is super simple. So tomorrow, if we don't have any new questions, tomorrow we're going to start something. We're going to start working on this layout and make it for iPad, right? With all the thing. We're going to take this, right, and make it for iPad. And I'm going to show you how to build for iPad in a way that is easy to do, right? So I'm going to show you many things here, but I'm going to take this and we make for iPad and then for iPhone.
Sounds good to me.
So see you tomorrow, guys.
See you tomorrow, everybody. Have a good one.